So, we're going to talk about Mundelein Ministries today?
Yes, so got a lot of stuff happening, so might as well catch up.
Yeah, might as well.
Hey guys, we're here. We're doing a little bit of a recap of the miracle in Mundelein and kind of give you a lowdown on what the Mundelein Ministries is all about. Stay tuned.
So, to start off, I was really curious to hear about the conception and inspiration for Mundelein Ministries. Where did this all come from?
Yeah, so it really kind of goes back to when I first became a Christian. I was already kind of in like the mission field mindset. I wasn't looking to do religious missions, but I was just looking to go travel all over helping people. And when I became a Christian, God just kind of shot down the whole idea of abandoning those closest to me. You know, like Pastor Mike said, grow where planted. I didn't get planted over in Bangladesh. I didn't get planted over in California. God put me right here. How am I going to walk by my neighbors as hell burns at their feet? I was 22 years old living in America before I even heard the gospel. It wasn't from any of you. It was from some random New Zealander who came to America because we were so deprived of the gospel with a church in every block. So with that in mind, that's what really what fuels my passion is just going ahead and really trying to right. You can't ever right the wrongs that are done to you, but you can always do your best to make sure no one else goes through the same thing. So my passion is just to share the gospel with everyone around here. Obviously start where our spiritual home is in Mundelein, but get big. Branch out eventually. Maybe one day we get a missionary in every single city in Lake County, maybe. Never know.
That's great. Yeah, I think God often does that, puts us through something to push us towards where He wants us. We complain about the snow, but if you were planted in Bangladesh, it would be a lot hotter. So be grateful you're in Mundelein. But what's the main goal of Mundelein Ministries? How do you plan to achieve that goal through evangelism?
Yeah, so right now, it's tough to evangelize Mundelein. You really got to be tactful about your approach. You know, when I first became a Christian, I moved shortly after to Northbrook, and there's downtown Northbrook, and there's constantly people walking around because it's public parking, busy downtown area. I can go there anytime, night or day, and just harass people on the streets about Jesus. There's not that in Mundelein. There's very few people walk around the street, so you can't just decide to walk around and I'll go witness to you. You might find 2 people in 4 hours who even will talk to you, which is better than nothing, but you gotta be wise with our time. So we tend to focus more on special events, preferably regular special events, and also public commuters, so train stations. Right now I'm working full time, so it's really hard to get there in time for the big rush people, but I'm still able to catch like 30-ish people or so usually on a good day. So lately we've been kind of focusing on Park Street, and we had some other events going soon, but I'm sure we'll get to it.
Is there a very memorable experience you've had with evangelism in public witnessing?
Yeah. One of the first comes to mind was probably my first time going out there sharing the gospel. I was brand new Christian, barely had read the Bible, and I was very confident in my ability to share the gospel. And God humbled me. He brought me to this man. I can't remember his name. He barely would talk to me. I started interviewing him about Jesus. I'm like, hey, so what are your thoughts on the afterlife and that? Start getting towards Jesus, and his first thing is, my brother just got mauled down by a mass shooter 2 weeks ago. How can God allow that? I was fresh off the boat. I don't got an answer to that, man. So that's really just helps me remember like stay humble to really. I did not handle that very well. He wound up walking away very angry at me, kind of rightfully so. What's most memorable to me is the first time I really spent some time being tactical about my approach here in Mundelein. Park Street. So whoever doesn't know, they shut down Park Street during the summer to promote business, and pretty much there's a bunch of tables out there with a bunch of restaurants. And then on Friday nights they got this open mic, and there's tons of people there. So I first heard about this from Fred, who just really kept harping on me. I need to get down there. Finally, I do, and I'm being a bit. I thought I was being a bit chicken, sitting around there for a half hour or so. But I went through. I gave out tons of tracks that day, and then afterwards, I'm like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? So I decided to walk over to the CVS, grab a drink, and see where God leads me. And it's now about 9:30 or so. And I'm walking back to my car feeling like, oh, I guess that was good, but that's it. There's only action for 15 minutes. And I'm walking down the street and I see this guy, it's pitch black out, no street lights. I see some random dude walking around in circles, kind of stumbling, looking up and stuff. He looks like an absolute maniac. So of course I'm actually going to cross the street, but no. I still got some tracks on me. I'm like, oh, I'll give the guy a track. And his name is Vitaly. I give him a track. He looks at me. He's just as startled to see me because I haven't seen him. And I give him a track, and we went out talking for hours, solid 2 hours. We were there. He's still drinking his liquor bottle while we're talking, but we go through the gospel. It turns out he's from Ukraine. And he's all torn up because his family is back there getting bombed and just absolutely destroyed. And I wound up praying with him for a while. Then what was crazy was he wanted to go get a smoke, so he led me over to the gas station around the corner. So I'm able to share the full gospel with Vitaly, and then he introduced me to his buddy there, who's working, and I'm able to share the full gospel with him too. And the whole time I just felt like this is my spiritual home. I'm doing God's work here. And I really just, times like that just help me keep going.
That's great to hear. There's a paradigm or idea in missions about the person of peace coming from Jesus' instruction in the gospel. Just that person who God opens their heart and then they connect you to other people. So it sounds like a disc drunk, right? God has a sense of humor sometimes. There was a recent experience you had at a concert here, and you went through strategy about public events. You tell us more about that? Was it called Rise Mundelein?
Yeah, so it was organized by Rise Mundelein. It was they titled this thing A Miracle in Mundelein. And that really gave me some motivation to go there and tell them a little bit about miracles. It was the first concert in Illinois to allow cannabis consumption on site, which is to be expected at this point, but still so horrifying because we're just getting so far away from God's truth, God's calling. So I did the most research I can. The best I could come up with before it was that it's going to be a pretty huge concert type deal, and there's going to be a ton of people there smoking weed. I'm like, okay, that's all I know. Let's work with it. So one of our faithful volunteers, Donna, she drives me out there because there's no parking. You know the Mundelein parking over there across the street from the industrial area? They had sold out on parking. How can you sell out parking there? I've never seen so many people on Mundelein. They're busing people in from Chicago, from Milwaukee. Everyone's flying. This thing's the new Woodstock. So I get there and there's this public road I'm on, so I think I'm good. I talked with the police, like, hey, just a heads up, I'm gonna be here doing my thing. Hope we don't have any interaction, but we'll see how it goes. And then I'm there for about an hour, and I just gave out some tracts, not a whole lot, and did manage to have some conversations, one long conversation with the gentleman, and I think he didn't really like what I had to say, so then afterwards he's going in to buy his ticket after talking for like maybe 15, 20 minutes, and I guess he complains about me, and shortly after, Sergeant of Police gets called over and he's like, hey, you have to go. And right now, because we lack funding, I don't have a good lawyer to ask, like, hey, can they do this? Like, this is First Amendment protected speech on public property. Does this permit triumph that? Like, what can we do to get around that? We don't have those sort of resources right now. We're a ragtag team. We've got Donna, who's a faithful volunteer, and we have a couple really dedicated prayer warriors, but and obviously Aaron's helping a little bit here, but we're really struggling for support here. So I just had to leave. I was there for an hour. I was hoping to be there until they closed the place and had to head out. And I walked for miles all around there because they had the permit covered like almost a half square mile. So I get outside these boundaries and I'm walking around like, surely I can go find them. There's a huge place here. Let's go find some people. I couldn't find them. They were all either on public property over in the Mundelein building, and I couldn't really get a good approach over there. And I was just kind of restless. I went there anyway. And there was just nowhere. So we've got some ideas to really work on some strategies there, but it was good. I was there for an hour, got to interact with probably a couple hundred people there who were just during that hour. So it wasn't good, but not great.
I guess that leads into the next question, which is how do you plan to build on this experience and approach events like this in the future?
Yeah, so I like giving out tracts. I don't mind it, but it's just not great. I'd rather have one-on-one interactions with people. It's sure you can give out a lot more tracts so you can talk to people. If you get a good tract that people don't even realize is a gospel tract right away, you can give out a couple hundred in an hour or so. But it doesn't take someone who's really gifted at evangelism to give out tracts. It takes someone who's willing to just step up and offer. So to try to really better utilize the gift of evangelism God's given me, I'm exploring some different options. One of those is I'm kind of leaning towards booths. A friend of mine, Scott Sherry, he has a similar mission over in Dearborn, Michigan. That's Muslim country over there. Everyone's Muslim. And he really directs his strategy like that. He sets up booths, kind of just these really huge, rectangle tables, and he sets up all sorts of books on there. And he puts these banners across there, mostly in Arabic. And he really just gets people to come to him. He's offering free books. People are willing to talk with him a little bit. Now, I'm not about free books so much because we don't have the funds for them. But we do have other options, such as we've got the farmers market that goes on during the summer here in Mundelein. We can perhaps talk to the organizers there, purchase a booth there so I can give out tracts there, of course, but also just invite people to come sit down. Let's talk about the afterlife. Let's talk about how can we get right with God. Perhaps we can, with God's grace, do something similar over at the Miracle in Mundelein. Perhaps we can market it as a token talk, where we can just encourage them. They're going to be smoking regardless, so just be like, hey, come sit down, let's talk about some deep theological things. People like to smoke up and talk about deep stuff, so why not talk about the light stuff and really bring truth there? And just at least even in the door.
Hmm. It just came to mind, one of the founding pastors of one of the churches in the music ministries in the U.S. that has really blessed my life and many people's life. It just came to me. He believed the gospel while smoking weed. Somebody was witnessing to him. Somebody had the courage to, and so you never know.
Yeah, man.
You never know. How, thank you so much, Jay, for sharing your heart and your vision. That's what people want. People know, at least when you are honest, that life is about something much bigger than yourself. And everybody's searching for that passion, that journey that they should be undertaking. It's really beautiful when somebody shares that with other people. But what is beautiful is that this is not a vision from yourself. This is something the Lord's given you. This is a vision within God's grand vision, within God's grand story. Thanks for taking the time to do that. How can people support this ministry through finances, through prayer, maybe through volunteering? What are some ways you're thinking of?
Yeah, so if you're interested in learning how to really help us out, just go to mundeleinministries.org/help. Mundeleinministries.org/help. It really covers all different ways. You can donate on the website, of course. Definitely sign up for our prayer team. We need prayer. We need God. We need Jesus every second of every day. And the more intercessors we have now, really, the better. We struggle. We're just starting off, so we really need prayer support. We need finances. If you're looking to volunteer, we have all sorts of ways you can help. Don't think that you don't have a place here. Just call me. There's a contact page on the website. If you don't have my number, we can find a place for you to help here with. You don't even have to evangelize. You're welcome to evangelize, but you can support us in so many other ways, like finding local events, being in touch with people, reaching out to churches for partnership. And if you're with a church, you're considering partnership, go to mundeleinministries.org/partner. There you'll see really some resources we have available for you to really rally behind Mundelein Ministries.
Thank you so much, Jerry.
Thanks, Ed. See you.